Imagine standing on a frozen plain where the wind slices through the air like a blade and temperatures fall so low that exposed skin can go numb within minutes. Now imagine surviving there, not for a day, not for a week, but for generations. Even more surprising, many Native American communities endured these brutal winters with very limited firewood, and sometimes none at all. So how did they do it? The answer isn't just survival. It's intelligence, engineering, and a deep understanding of nature that still amazes experts today. Long before modern heating systems or insulated homes existed, indigenous peoples across North America mastered a powerful idea. Staying warm is less about producing heat and more about preventing it from escaping. Instead of constantly fighting the cold, they learned how to trap warmth using the simplest materials around them: air, grass, fur, earth, and even snow. Air was their invisible shield. When air is trapped and unable to move, it becomes one of the best insulators on Earth. Native communities design nearly everything in their lives around this principle. Their clothing, shelters, and bedding all relied on layered systems that captured tiny pockets of still air, creating protection far stronger than most people would expect from natural materials. One remarkable material came from wetlands: cattail fluff. Light as feathers yet incredibly effective at holding warmth, it was often packed into winter footwear and stitched into clothing linings. The result was protection that added almost no weight while dramatically improving insulation. Dry grass and moss served a similar purpose. Stuffed between layers of garments or placed inside walls, the hollow stems created thousands of miniature air chambers that slowed the movement of cold. It was simple, renewable, and available almost everywhere. Animal hides were another essential tool, but not just because of the fur. Properly treated leather could block harsh winds, while the fur side helped retain body heat. Together, they formed a natural barrier perfectly suited for extreme weather. Even snow, something many people see as the enemy, became a powerful ally. Fresh snow contains a surprising amount of trapped air, making it an excellent thermal barrier. By piling snow around the base of their shelters, communities reduced heat loss and shielded themselves from icy winds. Winter itself became part of the defense system. This mindset shaped every aspect of daily life. Rather than overpowering nature, they worked with it, building homes that function like carefully tuned climate systems. Take the teepee of the Great Plains. At first glance, it may appear to be a simple structure of poles and hides, yet its design reveals generations of observation. The cone shape allowed fierce winds to flow around it instead of pushing directly against the walls, greatly improving stability during storms. A framework of long poles created the skeleton, while tightly sewn bison hides formed a nearly windproof outer shell. Inside, an additional lining hung slightly above the ground, creating a gap between the layers. This acted much like a thermos. Cold air entering from below rose through the gap and mixed with warmer air before reaching the living space, preventing sharp drafts. The fire inside was carefully positioned, and adjustable flaps at the top controlled airflow and smoke. Skins and grasses insulated the floor, while sleeping areas were arranged along the edges to distribute warmth evenly. Even the entrance typically faced east, reducing exposure to prevailing winds. For nomadic groups, this structure delivered something extraordinary: mobility without sacrificing protection from severe cold. But not every community moved with the seasons. In the forested Northeast, some nations built enormous longhouses designed for permanence. These wooden structures could stretch dozens of meters and house multiple families under one roof. Their strength came from arched frames made of young tree trunks, bent into shape and covered with overlapping sheets of bark that repelled moisture. Inside, the true secret revealed itself: community heat. Dozens of people living together generated a steady supply of body warmth. Each person produced heat simply by breathing and moving, and collectively it made a measurable difference in the indoor climate. Several hearths spaced along a central passage distributed warmth evenly, while raised sleeping platforms kept occupants above the coldest air near the floor. Walls were layered with mats or skins, adding another insulating buffer. Food stores and supplies doubled as thermal mass, helping stabilize temperatures. Entrances were often built like small tunnels, limiting the rush of cold air whenever someone stepped inside. These longhouses weren't just shelters, they were living systems designed for collective survival. Clothing followed the same logic. Instead of relying on one heavy garment, people wore multiple layers. A soft inner layer absorbed moisture, helping keep skin dry. Thicker outer layers trapped heat, while fur-lined robes blocked wind. Loose fits allowed insulating air to remain between fabrics. Footwear was especially important. Moccasins were often made larger to accommodate insulating materials like grass or fur. Mittens kept fingers together for shared warmth, and fur hats protected the head from rapid heat loss. This layered approach allowed constant adjustment. During activity, layers could be removed to prevent overheating. During rest, they could be tightened again to conserve warmth. Yet warmth required energy, and on the treeless plains, firewood was scarce. The solution was unexpected: dried bison dung. Once cured by sun and wind, it burned slowly, produced steady heat, and created minimal smoke. For many communities, it became an essential fuel source, reliable, efficient, and abundant thanks to massive bison herds. Preparation for winter meant gathering and storing large quantities, ensuring fires could be maintained when temperatures plunged. Beyond fuel, insulation techniques transformed entire settlements into winter strongholds. Earth was piled against the outer walls before heavy snowfall began, sealing gaps and protecting foundations from deep freezing. When snow arrived, it added another thick insulating layer. In some northern regions, partially underground homes were constructed. Covered with earth and snow, these dwellings used the natural stability of the ground to maintain surprisingly moderate interior temperatures compared to the harsh air outside. Inside these shelters, layout mattered just as much as construction. Storage areas lined colder walls, creating buffers. Stones heated by the fire released warmth long after flames faded. Elevated beds avoided chilled air near the floor, and thick bedding layers formed protective cocoons for sleep. Families often rested close together, sharing body heat, a simple yet highly effective method. Nutrition also played a major role. Winter diets emphasized fat-rich foods that released long-lasting energy. One famous example was pemmican, a dense mixture of dried meat and fat that could last for years while providing exceptional nourishment. Hot meals warmed the body from within, and heated stones were sometimes placed in bedding or used to warm clothing before dawn. But survival was not only physical. And perhaps the most surprising lesson of all is that nature itself provided many of the answers, for those patient enough to understand it. It was psychological and social. Winter became a season for storytelling, repairing tools, strengthening bonds, and passing knowledge to younger generations. Communities cooperated, shared resources, and prepared together. Instead of viewing winter as an enemy, they accepted it as part of life's rhythm. The true secret behind their endurance was not a single invention, but a complete system: engineering, resourcefulness, cooperation, and respect for the environment working in harmony. Their story challenges a modern assumption that comfort always requires complex technology. Often, the most effective solutions come from careful observation and smart use of what already exists. So the next time you